So how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm a little sleep deprived, but coffee makes up for that, so doing good.
So what's going on in your life?
Well, I am currently in the process of trying to go back to Guatemala for a few months with Vision Trust, which is like a missions organization, and so I'll be teaching English. But I'm kind of in the middle of this process and waiting on some people to get back to me with information, just a lot of like details that aren't in my control, but then I've also got just some forms to fill out, so that I can do, but it is just a lot of waiting.
Okay. So what are the details that are not in your control that you're trying to figure out?
Yeah, so there's like flight information, which that I think I'll be able to do once they get back to me about some other stuff. So like other things are like financial, like what does support raising look like? How much are they covering? How much am I gonna need to like be providing? Things like what does the daily schedule look like? I know I'm teaching English, but like what does that look like? Are they providing a curriculum? All that sort of stuff. And so all that has been written out and given to some like the people at Vision Trust, but I just haven't seen any of it. So yeah.
Yeah. So once that is all worked out, what are you like looking forward to once you get there, other than of course teaching English?
Yeah. Oh man, so much. Just like being there in general, because it has been a crazy journey of like just 5 years. I went for the first time when I was a sophomore in high school, and so just like that after that, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Like I want to do this. And so just having that dream planted in my heart when I was a sophomore in high school and wanting to like come back and teach English. I didn't even know if that was like something that was possible at the time, and seeing that unfold, and actually like now realizing that like, oh, this is like coming to fruition and I'm actually going to go. And okay, what? Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But so just like the actual fact that I'm going, I'm super looking forward to like just being there. But also the kids, the people. Guatemala is incredible, and the students that we work with. So in Guatemala, there's like you have basically two classes. You have the haves and the have-nots. You have the people that have like are rich. They normally live in the city, have jobs, so very well off, and then there's like the poor people that don't have a lot of money, resources, and the students that we work with are not super well off. A lot of them live in like the community. It's a rough environment, and so the public education system in Guatemala is not great. This just created a new law, basically saying that like it's okay and it's legal for there to be a 1 to 75 student to teacher ratio. So like there's one teacher for 75 students, which is absolutely crazy, especially when it's like elementary school age kids that they're one elementary schooler. It's like hard enough to reel in, so having 75 is crazy. But they at the beginning of every term, so like a new subject is taught, like every 4 weeks or so, they give a test to see how much the students know. And our kids who are going to the Learning Center every day were more advanced than everyone else in their grade. And so they would take these tests and they would pass, maybe not necessarily with like flying colors, but they would pass and know enough that the teachers were like, okay, come back in 4 weeks when we're done like learning about this. And so the students would end up back on the street, back like, whether it's like, so a lot of them have like older siblings involved in like gangs, and or they're just like going to work. And so it's what you would hope that education would prevent, like getting them out of like off of the streets and in a good environment. Like our kids are being punished for like knowing things, and so I'm just excited to go back and to be able to like look all of my kids, my niños, in the face and be like, hey, like you're valued and loved and like wanted, and you belong here, and you like your education is important. Like you're like what you want to do with your life is important. Your dream is important. So just getting to like go back and do that. The relationships, the kids, the people. That's like what I'm really looking forward to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So like long term, so the students, do they stay there up until high school? Is a learning center just for like until they hit a certain age? Like what happens after that?
So the learning center, basically there's a right now the oldest kids are in 7th grade.
Okay.
And so they will keep growing with the oldest kids so that they're going to graduate these 7th graders. That's what their goal is, is to graduate these 7th graders. And so because of the way that like the culture is in rural Guatemala, they have like an age cutoff limit. So they don't accept any, I'm not sure if it's just boys or boys and girls, but I know for sure like they don't accept any boys over the age of 10, because the age of 10 in Guatemala, at least in that part, in the more impoverished communities, it's basically to be considered a man is you know how to use a machete, you drink, and you have sex. And so at the age of 10, these boys are like doing all of that. So they started in like including some students who were over the age of 10, and they were having problems with like sexual assault in the bathrooms, and it was like this once safe environment had become something that like wasn't like that. So they had to implement the cutoff age, which was really hard because you don't want to like deny education to anyone, but in order to like get the best of the best, they had to implement that cutoff age. So they'll graduate they'll keep adding more and more students like as the new ones come in. But like they're gonna grow up with these kids, which is so cool, just because it's like been a process. And like I went for the first time 5 years ago, so seeing like the student who was like, I don't know how, like 3 when I first met them, and like now she's like 8, and it's like, dang, like to see people grow up is super cool. Yeah.
So the 7th graders had been there for quite a few years, like. Were they there when you first got there?
Some of them were there. There was like, when I first went, it was like, there's like 30 kids, and now there's like 250. So it's grown a lot just as people start becoming like trusting of someone coming into the community and teaching their kids. But some of the 7th graders, there's a few, one of them is Mabel. She was there when I was first there. And so, like, to see her transformation that's been crazy. Because she just has a crazy story. Just things that, like, you wouldn't think, like, a 12-year-old would have to go through. Yeah. So.
Is there anything that you're nervous about or maybe unsure with how to deal with? Because it's evident that all of the kids have been through a lot in their community. There's a lot of different things going on. Does any of that make you nervous, or? I would say one thing that I am probably most concerned about is, well, part of it is I feel super in over my head because I'm just this 20-year-old, like, I don't have any sort of agenda or anything. I'm like, I just want to, like, go and, like, do what I can to, like, I'm just trying to go and, like, love my neighbor, you know, like, teach, provide education. Like, I don't have any answers to any of the problems, like, the local leadership, like the people who grew up in Guatemala, like they know what their country needs. So I'm not like I am not coming in to like change or fix anything. I'm just like wanting to like give them encouragement, education, like English skills, so that when they do graduate, like they have the ability to converse with people, go into the workplace environment. But even that's like is super in over my head. So just like the whole idea, I know that I can't do like on my own in my own strength, but luckily I don't have to. So but also just like I think just I'm like literally picking up my life and like moving it somewhere else, and so just that whole thing is crazy, and trying to figure out like, you know, like friendships and relationships and wanting to have that like intimate connection with people and like an established relationship, but also like it's a process, you know, like being like we weren't friends in an instant, so like it takes time to get to know people, and so just to like having patience in that process and like actually there's part of me that's like fearful, like, oh my gosh, what if I go and like what if I suck at it, like what if I'm terrible, what if I don't have any friends. I don't give a whole lot of thought to all of that because I know that it's just like it's gonna be more good than it is bad. So the whole Guatemala is gonna be more good than it is bad. Feeding the fears would be more bad than good.
So
do you